Coming up on this episode of NPS Now, Ocean View Elementary celebrates its 75th anniversary. Chesterfield students get a special visit from the Virginia Aquarium. And the Norfolk Technical Center holds its annual College and Career Day. All that and more next on NPS Now. Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. Ocean View Elementary's 75th anniversary was celebrated by students and staff, both present and past. Guests to the event were treated to a special assembly featuring student performances and were invited to visit the numerous displays throughout the building. Many of the school's former students and staff were very enthusiastic about visiting their old school.
Exciting to see some old friends, and it's the way they've got it laid out, the different years, you can find the group standing around there, you're probably somebody you know. So met several people that I hadn't seen in years.
I think it's so exciting. We did the 60th anniversary the year I left, and we had limited amount of archive pictures and all kinds of things. But I walked up and down here, and this is just amazing, the amount of work that the staff has put into collecting. I understand the Ocean View Museum has been involved in it a lot. So there's just so much here that I had no idea was available, so we're excited about that.
I think Ocean View is such an important part of the community we've had children here whose parents and grandparents and great-grandparents went to the school. And so when you think of Ocean View Elementary School, you think of the whole neighborhood of Ocean View. And it's just integrated so well together. And it's such an important part of our culture here and the memories of this area of our city.
As part of their ongoing efforts to develop student interest in math and science, Chesterfield Academy partnered with the Virginia Aquarium's Outreach Institution. It's their goal to get students excited about STEM-oriented career pathways and opportunities through interactive hands-on problem solving.
Well, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is our Chrome Club here at Chesterfield, so everything that STEM encompasses, also, Chrome is also trying to encourage as well. And with Chrome focusing with minorities and engineering, we're just trying to get our children involved and see what STEM is all about, see what types of activities if they choose to go in that direction in the future, then they can see the benefits and what it encompasses. Well, there are 4 different stations. One of the stations deals with mapping, another station deals with buoyancy, another station deals with locating and ships. So all of them have something to do with marine science, and so the activities are based on different levels of marine science.
Norfolk Technical Center kicked off Career and Technical Education Month with their annual College and Career Fair. Dozens of excited students got to choose from over 50 businesses, colleges, and public services to meet with and explore their futures. This event is not only great for students, it also benefits these partners who are always looking for the best and brightest individuals.
It's wonderful. We very much enjoy joining this particular function. In regards to all the other high schools in all of the cities, this one is our favorite. And we enjoy meeting all the students here and offering them information that allows them to further their education.
This is a great place to groom, to expose our students who may not have known about the opportunities that are out there. A lot of them, when they meet these businesses and colleges and military people, it's the first time that they're being exposed to it. So the light bulb comes on. You can feel the energy and excitement out there in the hallway. The kids love it. The businesses love it. They call us every year to try to find out the date so they can put it on their calendar. So it's a win-win for everyone.
I think it's a really huge opportunity because it gives us a chance to be able to come and see what we can get ourselves into once we graduate, and because a lot of kids now these days don't really see the opportunities of what this world has to offer.
some lucky Granby Elementary students received 2 free books each through a company called paperbackswap.com. Members of the company donated 1,500 books and the money for postage, so students are able to pick the books they like based on grade and reading level.
This year they donated books to 20 schools, which was about 25,000 books. Over the last 4 years, they've donated to 97 schools and about 70,000 books. Out of those 97 schools, only 2 have been in Virginia, and we are one of the lucky ones.
Norfolk Public Schools employees recently participated in a district-wide professional development day. Among the dozens of class offerings was a course on emergency preparedness, which took place at Booker T. Washington High School. Staff members got the chance to work closely with Norfolk Police and city employees to find new ways to keep our students and staff safe.
Today we're talking about the importance of knowing their crisis plans that they should already have in place, and they're going to get a chance to discuss that with their individual groups to see if there's any gaps in those plans that they have to correct. Also, we're giving them the opportunity to actually be in a scenario where an active shooter takes place. We will have police officers posing as bad guys. We will have blank firing ammunition, and it's going to give the staff here the opportunity to see, unfortunately, what one of these events is like.
Well, it's an opportunity for both schools and city to discuss a very real threat and be able to share roles and responsibilities and expectations so we can be better prepared for any disaster, but particularly an active shooter incident.
We've learned that there's a need for us to really take this training serious. The different distinctions and responsibilities for the response teams, the police, the fire, the emergency, the school system, and how we communicate in situations like this, how this could really be a benefit in saving lives.
A couple of recent snowstorms have caused the district to schedule some makeup days. Because of those closures, both Friday, February 14th, and Monday, February 17th, will be full instructional days for students and staff. The school board for the city of Norfolk will hold its monthly meeting on Wednesday, February 19th, on the 12th floor of the school administration building. The informal session, which will feature the superintendent's budget presentation, is at 4 p.m. and will be aired live on Channel 47 and the NPS website. The formal session will follow at 7 p.m. in the boardroom, and the public is invited to attend. If you have any great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to contact us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Coming up next on NPS Sports, it was signing day for our athletes in our high schools. Find out where they are headed. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Around the country was signing day, and here in Norfolk Public Schools we had 2 schools that had athletes sign college scholarships. Let's go to Lake Taylor High School.
The Titans had 2 football players sign on to play college football at the Division I level. Naquan Harris signed to play for Marshall, while Jalen Holmes will showcase his skills in Columbus at The Ohio State University. Harris, aka Big Money, was an all-state defensive lineman who registered 46 tackles and 6 sacks for the 10-3 Titans this past season. Holmes was a high school All-American at defensive end, played in only 8 of the Titans' 13 games, but still managed 48 tackles, 19 of them for loss. Maury High School also had a signing day celebration as 4 of their own student athletes signed to play in college. All-district performer Ricky Haley signed to wear the green and gold. The 6'3", 215-pound linebacker will play at Norfolk State University. Jada Lucky, a sharpshooter on the girls' basketball team, will take her talents to UNC Greensboro. Field hockey was also represented as All-State forward Anna Kimeny will stay local as well, signing with Old Dominion, while Mackenzie Schneider, who plays in defense, will apply her trade at Georgetown University. A proud moment for the students, family, faculty, and friends to see that hard work can pay off.
It was great. It was a great, warm feeling. You know, I had all my family, friends, old teammates, coaches here to sort of like send me away to college. That final sealing of the deal.
The sweat equity that these athletes put in was a lot, but they were appreciative of the efforts of Norfolk Public Schools to help them reach this point.
They pushed me. They knew I was an athlete, so they kind of like made me work harder than other students. They pushed other students too, but they made me work harder as an athlete because they knew I had something to hold on to.
I've had great coaches in field hockey, and I've also had great teachers that have taught me a lot, so they've helped me succeed and get good grades, and yeah.
You know, Lake Tyler is home. I'm always come back and do good for Lake Tyler. They trained me well. They taught me how to be the successful young man I am today, and I thank them for that.
Here's a complete list of all the signings.
Middle school wrestling tournament was held at Blair Middle School. Azalea Gardens Middle School won the regular season title. Let's take a look at the action.
Azalea Gardens was looking to add to their regular season title, and they had an impressive showing with 6 first-place finishers. Lake Taylor and Ruffner had the second most with 3. When the points were tallied up, Azalea Gardens was the winner. Individually, medals were handed out in 17 different weight classes. Let's take a look at the final results.
For all your schedules and results, make sure you check out your Big Team websites. Sites have been updated with all the recent weather changes. All the tournament action is listed. Make sure you check out your Big Team sites. More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With me today is Rodney Jordan, school board member and digital technology consultant. Welcome, Mr. Jordan, to NPS Now.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad that you're here today. We're meeting with all of our board members over the months to get to know them up close and personal, so I appreciate you coming in today. You've been very active in the community, served on many boards and commissions. How do you think those experiences has prepared you to be on the school board?
Well, you know, it's interesting. In some ways, I think they have prepared me a lot, again, in the sense of being used to the meeting formats, the responsibility, the accountability piece, the governance piece. But I have to tell you, being on the school board is something that is just far more extensive, requires far more dedication, far more teamwork than I think any type of role I've played like that with similar organizations.
Big time commitment.
Oh, extremely. I mean, I think in order to be effective and to really try to get a handle on the issues, you know, we serve currently 2-year terms, and so it doesn't give you a lot of time to, you know, kind of learn on the job. So at least for me, I try to put in a lot of effort to be fully aware as much as I can about the issues so that I can act accordingly.
How much time do you think in a week do you spend on school board duties?
Boy, that's tough. I mean, outside of our meetings, which sometimes we may have 2 or 3 in a month, I would say I probably put in a good 20 hours, maybe 30 hours, just depending upon what we may be dealing with at a particular point in time.
So your other hat is a digital technology consultant.
Yes.
Share with me your background.
So I've been working, I'm a graduate of Hampton Institute, now University, computer science, and I've been working for the last 20 years in digital technology or technology in general, primarily trying to work to ensure that technology can be used for good and that communities and organizations and businesses can use technology to enter into the economic mainstream and be successful. So more recently, that's involved working with broadband technology, getting broadband into communities, doing digital literacy with schools and community, and just overall just trying to make sure that everybody has access, knowledge, and relevant content when it comes to the internet and technology in order to have personal or community uplift.
So you're bringing those skill sets to the school board?
I hope so. I try. I do have some experiences in working with school districts in, let's see, where have I worked? Louisiana, Mississippi, Indiana, North Carolina, and maybe some other places, just in terms of trying to integrate technology into the school environment, but more particularly taking what's happening in the school system, extending it out into the community, and having the technology being the vehicle to do that.
Wow. So what are your top 2 goals you feel? I'm saying 2 because I know you have 10.
Okay.
What are your top 2 goals that you would like to accomplish as a school board member?
Well, I think one is just trying to make sure that we stay focused and implement the strategic plan with fidelity. So I'm an engineer or a computer scientist by trade. So the idea of having effective plans that you then actually can implement, can measure, and to make sure that what you put down on paper actually results in successful outcomes, that would be one. And then the other is, I just think we need to make Norfolk Public Schools really be the school of choice for all families. And so whether that involves trying to support choice options or looking at ways that we can diversify our student base so that everybody sees and feels that they have a stake in the success of our district, I would say those would be the 2 things at a high-arching level.
So what capacity are you on the school board? I know there's different committees and what have you.
Yeah, well, we have some committees. Obviously we all are involved with doing student reinstatements and being involved with those type of issues. I don't think, well, I'm on the audit committee, so we just went through that. And then I'm also serving as the vice chair of the Virginia School Board Tidewater region.
Okay.
So I've taken on that type of role with the Virginia School Board Association.
So what's your favorite part of serving on the board?
What's my favorite part? Wow. I guess just seeing the success of our children, seeing progress being made, working with and acknowledging the great things. I really enjoy when we have the awards pieces and being able to see all the great things that our teachers and administrators and students are doing. So being able to see that result on the end, I think, is the most rewarding.
And you also play a key role with our Norfolk Council PTAs.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I sure am. So many things, can't keep track of
when
them.
you were listening to those, I was like, oh, he has
that's right.
feather in his cap.
I do have that. I'm the liaison to the PTA, and I'm also the liaison to the Special Education Advisory Committee. But you mentioned the Norfolk Council of PTA. I mean, my mother was active in PTA. My grandmother was active in PTA. I've always been active in PTA. So I think, we always say we want to have parents involved productively in the school building at home. So I do very much enjoy being that liaison and hoping and helping to see that organization really grow into the type of force that I think it needs to be.
Right. So what advice would you give someone who was interested in becoming a member of the Norfolk School Board?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Be prepared. It's real tough work. It takes a certain level of commitment and dedication in order to be effective. Sometimes positions, sound sexy or sound good. And again, I think that being on the school board is an awesome responsibility, but it really takes a lot of work and a lot of our own professional development and our own continuous learning in order to just not only stay on top of what the superintendent may be recommending, but the impact and laws that come down from the state and federal laws and being able to understand a whole wide variety of issues, especially if you're like me and your background is not in education.
So what's the lesson that took the longest for you to learn as a school board member? Because this is your first term, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in my first 2-year term. You said, what's the first lesson? I'm probably still learning it. So I'm not sure if I have an answer for you on that one. But just the governance, the role of the school board in terms of, we always talk about, when you stay above the line, when you don't, try not to dip below the line and making sure you aren't micromanaging the administration and the work of the district. So as you mentioned, I've been involved with so many Norfolk Public School committees over the years that, having that perspective sometimes and that institutional knowledge, I think sometimes can be seen as maybe you're dipping below the line, but really I'm just trying to share some of the experiences that I've had.
I watched yesterday the budget meeting you all had.
The work session we had.
Session you had, and it's a great dynamic group of people. How do you like working with them?
Oh, I think we make a great team. I mean, as I mentioned earlier about diversity, I think it's important that you have people that come together from different backgrounds, different perspectives, and bringing it together and see if you can't gel around, some commitments that you make and some priorities that you establish. So I think being able to work with people from different parts of the city, different experiences is something that I enjoy. And so that part of the work I really appreciate.
So what's the best advice you've received?
From whom?
As a school board member.
What's the best advice I've received? Well, it's interesting. I get good advice all the time.
And you give it, I'm sure.
Well, I share. I have my own opinions. But one of the things that we've been doing as a board, and one of our board priorities around, is becoming a board of distinction. And so we spend a lot of time working with the Virginia School Board Association on training. So we recently, had a retreat in Charlottesville at the Virginia School Board Association office, and really just began to focus on understanding expectations that you set, what ends are, and then how you hold the superintendent, how you hold yourself, and how you hold others accountable. So advice around, that process and what it takes to really come together and gel and speak with one voice in that regard is advice that I've gotten that I think's been good, and it's advice that I continue to get.
Well, I think you've had a lot of great advice as when you were growing up, because I've known you for a while,
yes,
and
yes,
you have
yes.
a trailblazer in your family.
Several, actually.
Several
but
trailblazers.
Yeah.
And being that it's February,
Yes.
Black History Month, I thought it'd be appropriate for us to talk about your late uncle, Judge Joe Jordan.
Okay.
Tell me about your uncle.
Well, let's see. So he was an attorney, labor lawyer. He actually was in World War II and was paralyzed at age 19. Came back, finished, went to Brooklyn Law School in New York, got his law degree, and along the way formed a partnership called Jordan, Dawley and Holt. And it's been said that law firm took on more civil rights cases during the late 50s, early 60s than any other firm in the South. And people don't really know that part of the history. They know the judge.
They know the judge part,
but they don't necessarily know the lawyer part. Then in 1966, he worked with Mrs. Butts, and they worked with Thurgood Marshall and had Virginia's poll tax eliminated.
Wow.
68 became Norfolk's first African American on council since Reconstruction. And then in 77, became a judge, retired in 86, and wrote a book called We Can Make It Together. And so, he just really has been a trailblazer from, one time proposing a monorail from Ocean View to downtown. So when I see light rail, I think of him. And he had even proposed that we work together as a region and come up with a desalinization plant so we could take the ocean front and the ocean and use it as a basis for serving water. So he was an inventor and a maverick, some say, and so it's constantly.
And I think you followed in his footsteps.
Well,
you're standing on the shoulders of a giant here in Norfolk.
I appreciate you saying that.
And that was a great Black history fact about him, because I think a lot of folks didn't know or don't know or have moved into Norfolk but don't know the rich history that we have here in our area.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah. So who are some other trailblazers that you
saw
in your family?
It's all perspective.
Outside of mom and dad.
Well, my brother has been doing our genealogy, and one of the persons he uncovered, the Jordan side of the family, my grandfather came from Indian Head, Maryland area, and my brother found that our name used to be Tubman. And then one of our ancestors changed it to Jordan after the spiritual hymn Roll, Jordan, Roll. And then he also found that one of the ancestors was almost similar to 12 years a slave, but would escape. And that they literally put a ball and chain on his leg and buried him with it, because apparently at that time the people thought that folks would come back as ghosts, and so they wanted to make sure that they buried him. So I guess, so you talk about being that maverick, so we were joking that I guess that spirit of trying to make sure that you break free and you try to make the country be what it needs to be. It's just something that runs through the blood.
That is powerful, and I'm glad that we had you here in the month of February because you shared some great facts about your family and the rich history that is here in Norfolk. So thank you, Mr. Jordan, for sharing information with us about you personally and for serving on the school board.
Well, thanks again for having me.
Great to have you. And we want to thank you for tuning in to NPS Now. The show airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can watch us online at www.npsk12.com. Again, thank you for watching NPS Now.